guys, I hope everybody is having an awesome day. So I have been making bats like a crazy person. And they have all been selling absolutely fabulously. However, you know, I've kind of running low on, weight for Halloween colors. This is all I have left of the crushed velvet that I was using. The bright stripes, the red heart bright stripe, I'm almost out of. I think I have enough for one more bat. But anyways, so this set me on a quest to find a no-sew ghost pattern that wouldn't be too small. A lot of the ones that I found were very small because they're designed to be used. They're designed to use chunky weight yarns, which I don't have any more of. So I was looking for one that would work with a worsted weight yarn and still be a fairly decent size. And I did find one. It did not turn out great. I didn't care for it at all, the first one that I made. So then I decided to go ahead and try to design my own ghost. I don't have a lot of experience with designing amigurumi, but I do think it turned out quite well, and I will throw a picture of it on the screen. I'm sure it'll also be part of the thumbnail. Here is a second one that I am working on. Here's a second one that I'm working on. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to make for this tutorial. I don't have a written pattern typed up just yet, but I'm sure eventually I will, type up a written pattern, and it will be available in the shop if you want to support the channel. Otherwise, it'll be available right here for free. And I think I'm going to call it my baby ghost. So yeah. For this project, you are going to need a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. These eyes, I think, are maybe, I don't know, I think these are 10 millimeter eyes. On the other one, I used 12 millimeter glitter eyes, which I'm sure you guys will see at some point on the screen. A little bit of scrap yarn for the mouth. And the yarn that I'm using right now is Red Heart Super Saver Metallic in just the white color. It's got a little bit of glitter to it. That's always nice. And probably stitch markers, a couple of stitch markers, and a yarn needle for closing the bottom up, because like I said, this is a completely no-sew pattern. Only reason you'll need the needle is to close the bottom hole up. So I think that's it. So let's get into it. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is make a magic ring. Just like that, and we're gonna put 6 single crochet into our magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and pull that tight. And now we're going to increase in each stitch around so that our total stitch count will be 12. So I'm hoping you guys can see this yarn okay on a white background. This first stitch is always the hardest to get into. So I am using a 3.5 millimeter hook and a weight 4 yarn. In fact, it's Red Heart Super Saver Metallic. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm going to tighten that ring back up, so that gives me a total of 12 stitches. And I'm going to get my stitch marker ready. So for round 3, all we're going to be doing is placing 1 single crochet into this first stitch, just like that, and then we're going to do it 2 in this next stitch for an increase. So I'm going to take my stitch marker and place it right here on this first stitch. I usually go under these 2 bars here. That way when I go to do the next round, I can work into this stitch and it'll still keep track of my first stitch. So for round 3, we're just going to go all the way around, placing 1 single crochet and then an increase. And that should give you a total of 18 stitches, and I will meet back up with you guys when I get all the way around. Okay, so you can see that I've made it all the way back around to where my stitch marker is, and like I said, I like to place my stitch marker. Let me see if I can get this to focus a little better. I like to place my stitch marker in the side of my first stitch rather than in the top. That way I can just continuously work and it won't inhibit my ability to get into that stitch. So for the next round, we are just going to be doing 2 single crochet. So 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and then in the third stitch we're going to be doing a single crochet increase. So we're going to place 2 in that stitch. And that is what we're going to be doing all the way around. So 1, 2, increase, just like that. And I will do that all the way around, and then I'll meet you guys back up for the next round. Okay, so I've made it back around to my stitch marker. You guys might be able to see that's where the stitch marker is inserted, and then you can just see the next stitch on top of that, and that is how I keep track of where the beginning and end of my rounds are. So just like before, for this round we are going to be doing 3 single crochet and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to place an increase in the next one. And we're going to continue that all the way around. And then for the next row, the last of the increase rounds, we'll be doing 4 single crochet and an increase. So I will meet back up with you guys after I have done this round here, as well as the next round, which will be 4 single crochet increase. Okay, so here's what mine looks like after the last round of increases, which should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you should have 6 rounds. If yours is looking a little hexagonal, you can do what I did, which was to do 2 single crochet at the beginning, increase, and then do 4. And what that does is offset your increases, and it will make your piece look a little bit less hexagon and more circular. So for rounds 7 through 13, we are just going to be doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. You should have a total of 36 stitches. So I'm going to do my first 3 stitches right here. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to move my stitch marker up to the first stitch of round 7, which is right here. Just going to place it in the side of that stitch. That way I can continue to work. And you're just going to you're going to go around working in a continuous circle until you have 13 rows. It's rows or rounds 7 through 13. Just placing 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And I will meet back up with you guys once I have done that. Alright guys, so this is what mine looks like after completing rows 7 through 13. And now we're going to put in our safety eyes. So I'm using, I think these are 10 or 12 millimeter safety eyes. And I mean, you can use whichever size you want for yours, but for a project this size, 10 to 12 seems pretty good to me. But so this is our first round. And we're going to put these eyes between rounds 10 and 11. So we're going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our eyes are going to go between this row of stitches and this row of stitches. And we're going to fit them into this little hole here. Just like that. That's your first eye. And then on that same row, we're going to count the holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the 6th one, you're going to place your second safety eye. So these little washers go on the inside. But before I put them on, I'm going to lay down this towel so that I don't scratch up the eyes, because sometimes these little washers can be a bit hard to push down. So the idea here is that you just, they go on, here's what they look like kind of closer up, but they go on with the curved inside facing the material or the fabric of your crochet. So sometimes they're pretty easy to pop on, like that one popped on pretty easy. Sometimes they can be a real pain, but you just pop these things on just like that, and you've got your little ghost eyes. Now we're going to take a bit of scrap black yarn that I have here, and we're going to embroider the mouth over row 12. So that's row 11 right here, and we're going to come up through, we're going to count over. So that's 1 stitch, 2 stitches from that eye, and we're going to draw your yarn or thread or whatever you're using through. Keep your tail, long enough that you'll be able to tie it. And then again, from the inside of this eye, we're going to count 1 and 2, and we're going to go into that second hole, and then we're going to go underneath and come out of the hole that is in the center beneath this 1 stitch that we skipped here. So that gives us a little line, and we're going to go up underneath this here, and then we're going to go back through this hole right here. I hope that you guys are able to follow me on this. And we're going to pull that straight, and what it does, or pull that tight, and what it does is it creates a little V smiley face. So cut that tail off, and I always tie mine on the inside just to make it a little bit more secure. Just like that. And that's how we do our face. So for row 14, we are going to be adding our arms. We're going to get this out of the way. And so for me, I'm just going to single crochet these first 3 stitches and then move my stitch marker up like I did before. So that's 2 and 3. So let's get this towel out of the way. It's my dirty kitchen towel. It probably is dirty, I don't know. So we're going to just place single crochets in each stitch around until we get closer to the eyes. So looking at the eyes, what we want to do is you look at the edge of the eye and kind of follow it down to where you're working. So that's right here. And then you want to move 2 stitches over, so 1 and 2. So we're going to place our first little arm in this stitch here. So 1 more single crochet, and then here we're going to do a cluster of treble crochets, I think it's called. I think it's a bobble, a treble bobble. So you're going to start out like you would doing a treble, but you're going to leave the last loop on your hook. And you're going to do that 5 times total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, one more time. Into that, all in that same stitch. So you should have a total of 6 loops on your hook now, and you're going to yarn over and just draw through all of them. Just like that. And you might have to move over your bobbles a little bit, or your bobble stitch a little bit. I think it's a bobble stitch. I always get them mixed up. Oh, there's a moth on me. And you're going to single crochet into the next stitch. I like to try to push out that little bobble stitch a little bit so it kind of sticks out. But you're just going to single crochet in the next stitch like you normally would. And that'll give your little ghost an arm. So you're going to single crochet again all the way over till you get to the next eye. So again, look at this outside edge of the eye and kind of follow it down and then count 2 stitches over. So 1 and 2. And we're going to place the second arm right about there. So we're going to place another treble with the last loop on our hook. And we're going to do that a total of 5 times in the same stitch. And that's 3. 4. 5. That leaves us with 6 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and just pull through all of these loops. And again, you're going to have to probably move over your little bobble stitch and put a single crochet into the next stitch. I like to try to push those out for some reason. I just think they look better pushed out. So he's got 2 little arms, and you're going to finish the rest of row 14 with just single crochets. And that completes round 14. You can see he's starting to look like a happy little ghost. So for rounds 15 through 20, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So I will meet back up with you guys once I have completed that. If you're using your stitch marker like I do, you can move it to row 15, and then it will help you keep track of how many rows that you have done of just single crochet. But rows 15 through 20, you're just gonna place 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet back up with you guys as soon as I have finished doing that. Alright guys, so here's what mine is looking like after doing rounds 15 through 20, which again were all just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So for round 21, we're going to be working in the front loops only. So we're first going to place a single crochet through the front loop of the first stitch for round 21. And then I like to take my stitch marker and mark that back loop of the first stitch right there. Right there. That way I know where the back loops start after I get done with the round. So in that same stitch, we're going to place a half double crochet, in the next stitch we're going to place a double crochet, still working through the front loops only. We'll be working through the front loops only through this entire round. So we'll place a double crochet, a treble crochet, and 1 more double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet, and a single crochet. And in the 4th stitch, we're just going to place a slip stitch in that front loop, just like that. And it gives us this cute little wavy thing there at the bottom, kind of like a, you know, the bottom of a ghost. You guys know the effect I'm going for. And so we're just going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So I'll do it one more time to show you guys. In the next stitch, it's going to be a single and a half double in the same stitch. And then we're going to place a double into the next stitch, as well as a treble, and another double, and then we're going to place a half double and a single in the next stitch. Hopefully I'm seeing them in frame. And then we're going to place another slip stitch. So you're just going to repeat that sequence all the way around. At the end of your round, you should have 9 of these little scallopy looking things. I think you'd call them scallops. But you should have 9, and they're all going to be worked in the front loops only. And you should end with a slip stitch in this. This will be your last stitch here, and it should end with a slip stitch, and then we will move on to round 22 when I get all the way around. Okay, so I made it back around. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little frillies or scallops, whatever you want to call them. So now we're going to work on the decrease rounds. So we're going to flip him over kind of like this. And right there in this first back loop, we're going to place a single crochet. You can move your stitch marker to the side. We're going to place our first single crochet right there in the back loop of the next stitch. And this round we'll be working in the back loop only. So just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull my stitch marker off. So that's one single crochet. We're going to put another one single crochet in the next 3 stitches for a total of 4 single crochets. So that's 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to put my stitch marker back in the side of the first single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to put my stitch markers in the side. It's just going to be that one there if I was on frame. And now we're going to do a single crochet decrease. I like to do the invisible decrease, but you don't have to. For this round, we're just going to be doing regular decreases, though, because we're working in the back loops only. In the next round, I'll show you how to do the invisible decrease. So we're just going to decrease over the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to do 4 more single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to decrease again. Gonna pull up a loop, pull up another loop, and we're going to decrease over the next 2 stitches. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to do 4 single crochets and then decrease over the next 2. And I will meet back up with you guys once I get all the way around. Okay, so I made it back around. And if we open our little ghost up a little bit, you'll see that these rows, these decrease rows, are going to start closing up the bottom. So for this next round, it's going to be the same thing, except we are going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So jumping right into this first single crochet, it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 single crochets. And then, like I said, I like to use the invisible decrease, so I will pick up the front loop of the next stitch and the front loop of the next stitch, and then yarn over, pull through both of those loops, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops, which hides the fact that that's a decrease a little bit better than when you go through both bars of that V. So 1, 2, 3 single crochet, and then we're going to decrease over the next 2 using an invisible decrease. Draw through 2, draw through 2. And we're going to do that all the way around, and I will meet back up with you guys when I get to the end of my round. Alright, so I've completed my round, and you can see that hole's just a little bit smaller. So the next round is going to be the same thing, except you're going to be single crocheting 2 and then decreasing. So 1, 2, and then we're going to decrease. One, 2, and a decrease. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will meet back up with you guys when I'm done with this round, and we will start stuffing. Okay, so I've completed my round of 2 single crochet and then decrease. So I've got a little bag of polyfiber toy stuffing here that I will be stuffing my little guy with. But you can use yarn scraps. I imagine you could maybe make him into a little bit of a beanie baby. If you had beans or like those plastic bean things, if you put them in maybe a small Ziploc bag, you might be able to weight him down a little bit. But I'm just going to use this polyfiber toy stuffing that I picked up at Walmart. I'm just going to stuff him. You don't want to overstuff him because it will stretch out your stitches. And also, because of the way the bottom is, we want him to be stuffed, but we don't want it to be overstuffed where his bottom bulges. So you got to be careful not to overstuff. Which, for me, I have a habit of overstuffing a lot of my amigurumi projects. But making this guy has really, I've really had to use some restraint on my stuffing. Let's see. And you can check to make sure that's not going to be, because you want this bottom to be flat, but you still want him to keep his shape. So I'm thinking just a little bit more won't hurt. You can kind of smooth it out by rolling him around in your hands, and it should smooth that stuffing out just a little bit. So that's what mine's looking like. You can see underneath the stitches, you could just barely see the black tail from where I did his mouth. So for the next round, we're just going to do one single crochet and then we're going to decrease. So I always go along the edge with my ring, or with my middle finger, and kind of separate it, use it as a separation between the stuffing and the stitches. So one single crochet and then a decrease. One single crochet and then another decrease. And like I said, I just try to separate the stitch work from the stuffing so that the stuffing doesn't get dragged through the stitches. Alright, I will meet back up with you guys once I get all the way back around to the beginning of the round, and then we'll move on to the next round. Alright, so I've made it back around, and this round is going to be all decreases. I'm just going to take out my stitch marker. I don't really need it anymore. So this round is going to be just 6 decreases. So that's 1, 2, 3, 'If I can get that front loop. 4, 5, 'Split the yarn. And 6. I hope that I was able to keep that in frame. It doesn't look like, it looks like I got off frame. So to finish off, I like to just go into the next stitch and slip stitch and then chain 1. And you're going to leave a little bit of a tail when you cut your yarn, and you're just going to pull that tail through the loop, and it makes a little bit of a knot. So you can see, like, he's not flat bottomed yet. So you're going to thread your yarn needle I'm using this sparkly yarn, so I'm trying to thread both the yarn and the sparkly yarn or streamer. So you're gonna just picking up the front loops. You're going to pick up each of the front loops of every stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can barely see it, but there is a 6th one here. And then once you have all 6 of them picked up, because we wove them in and out of those 6 stitches, but once you have it woven in and out and on your string or your yarn, you're just going to pull it tight, cinch it closed, and then going right in the center of where it was cinched, you're going to hide that tail on the inside of your little ghost. So I got that, and if you pull it tight, it should make his bottom a little bit flatter. And then you can weave this tail in as much as you can, just going different directions. The longer the tail that's on the inside, the better, just because it helps make him a little bit more secure. So I like to take the end of my needle, the larger end of my needle, and stuff that little bit of a tail back inside his body so it can't be seen. And there's your little ghost, looking all cute and Halloween-like. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little ghost tutorial. You know, I tried to make it as beginner friendly as I possibly could. You know, I thought he turned out really cute. And yeah, if you guys did like, you know, the tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it out. I'm probably not going to do a written pattern for this one. I'm probably just going to keep it as a free video tutorial. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I gotta go get ready for work. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.